Caribbean American News Network, the news you report. Let's get to work with the one and only Garfield Oliver, the most loved on Facebook. Tag a friend, tag a hack, share the page.
Caribbean American News Media, your Tuesday night power hour. Live every Tuesday at 8:15 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and GVV TV channel 115. Join your host, Garfield Oliver, as he dives deep into the latest inclusion developments, regional affairs, and global issues that matter to you. From politics to the economy, community stories to international headlines. We cover it all with real talk and real insights. Stay informed, get the facts, deep out of the conversation. Don't miss out. Set your reminders, share with your friends, and tune in. Caribbean American News Media, the news you report. Caribbean American News Media, your Tuesday night power hour. Live every Tuesday at 8:15 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and GVV TV channel 115. Join your host, Garfield Oliver, as he dives deep into the latest inclusion developments, regional affairs, and global issues that matter to you. From politics to the economy, community stories to international headlines. We cover it all with real talk and real insights. Stay informed, get the facts, deep out of the conversation. Don't miss out. Set your reminders, share with your friends, and tune in. Caribbean American News Media, the news you report. Caribbean American News Media.
Well, a special good evening to all our viewers here on Caribbean American News Media Platform. Folks, how are you doing tonight? Greetings to all. Please share the live and tag a friend. Good night to all. Let me just get myself here, some stuff rectify here, of course. Just give us a minute. Share the live and tag a friend, folks. We are live on the air. We are live, and we're hoping that you having yourselves a beautiful evening. Hey, guess what? It is what it is. It is Tuesday night, and we're getting ready to fire off on, should I say all cylinder or some cylinder? All right, so we're going to be right back in a few minutes. Please share the live and tag your friends.
Caribbean American News Network, the news you report. Let's get to work with the one and only Garfield Oliver, the most loved on Facebook. Tag a friend, tag a hack, share the page.
All right, so we are back again. Please share the live and tag a friend, folks. We are on here. It is 7:12. Well, in my area, of course. And I am sure somewhere where you are located, it is 8:12. Or maybe a little later, maybe a little earlier. Maybe it's another day for you. But greetings, my brothers and my sisters. Share the live and tag a friend. Yes. So, Mary, greetings to you. Victor, good to have you. Lawrence, yeah, Dudu. Mem, to our anyway, my dear here, so nobody can come for me, all right? But greetings to you and my friend Laurencia. Greetings, Mary. Greetings, Paul. How are you? Elizabeth. Elizabeth has been on this platform for so long. Listen, a very long time, okay? But greetings, Veronica. Good to have you. And to those who are over there on our Facebook, 1322 and 8852. How are you? And 3886. Good to have you, my folks. Wheresoever you're viewing us from, we want to welcome you to the one and only platform. All right? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Share the live and tag a friend as we get ready to take off. I don't want the volume to be too high, so I'm going to be lowering. If it's too low, let me know. We have someone from St. Martin. St. Martin is in the house, and that is it Alexander? Greetings to you. Yes. Marina, greetings, Saudi. Priska. And we have born, what's that? Mathre, greetings. Stanislas in the house, all the way from Soufrière. Soufrière is in the Kai. And I want to wish Arnold, my brother, Arnold, happy birthday, or belated birthday to you, rather. I've been very busy not being able to do a lot of stuff. But greetings to you, and I hope that you had yourself a beautiful, beautiful birthday. Beverly, Evelyn is just coming in. Lydia. Lydia put another name in the center of her name, so I get a little confused there, but that is my friend Lydia Francis. Yes, the Francis family. I'm Martin. They like my wise me. Yes. And my friend in Canada, maybe she's freezing. Is that Lucita Chopin? Greetings. Greetings, everybody. Greetings. Yes, yes. Yes, don't forget to tag a friend, all right? Tag a friend. And let's just have a parlay. Let's do some deparlaying tonight, all right? We're going to talk. We're going to talk a whole set of story. But we're not going to talk no zombie story in this platform, all right? We're just going to talk stuff. And if you impress and you want to call, the number is... I don't know where my number disappeared to. After elections, the number just disappeared, you know, my telephone number on the screen. So we'll have to find it at some point or get it back on the screen. And you know the number is 921-586-1821. All right, so we shall, let's see if we can put the number in the chat first of all. 921 586 1821. And so we just put it in the thing. Let's see if we can. Let's do a pin number. Yeah, I think it is. According to Muna, it is pinned. So we just pinned the number into the platform. All right, 92586. Just want to keep it there until we can locate it on the screen. So let me just do my ranting, of course, all by myself, and then we shall take it from there. So before I rant, right, let me just give you, my viewers, faithful viewers, I must say, faithful viewers who have some stick-to-itiveness in you. Greetings, all right? Me partner mwe Hillary. Blessings to you, my brother. Xavier, greetings. Justin, greetings. Okay, so let me, as you share the live, those of you who are viewing this on your smart television over on our YouTube channel, I want to thank you so much. You might be having a beautiful experience over there. The quality over there might be a little upscale for you. So let me fix all my stuff, make sure that you don't see my defects and my aging, graceful aging with wisdom. And some also stick-to-itiveness of course. That's important. As you get older, you get more wiser. Yeah? Not so fast. We'll talk about that later on. But we have a number of stuff that I want to discuss in the news. We have housing. We have a young lady with some kids who is having some issues on the island of St. Lucia. We're going to look at that. We also tonight have a VG Beach issue in Castries, St. Lucia, but that one is not my business. Of course, the people voted for that. So, Yokini Popale Pamwe. The Uber issue, we're going to look at that a bit. They voted for that also. We have the relocation of Cattles, grand celebration. We are St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the watch by the United States, being advised by the United States, the new government being advised. We'll look at that. We have St. Kitts and Nevis, a fugitive, got exposed, Chinese national, I believe, with a St. Kitts and Nevis CBI passport, got caught by the United States, all right? $73 million in fraudulent stuff going on there. So let us go into our affair, into our business, of course. Okay, so as you know, why is me? Why is me? Why is me? So let's bring in someone to do some introduction for us, and then we will get right back to work. I got to get a little more comfortable, folks.
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration.
All right, so we are back, and you're viewing Caribbean American News Media. Yes, the news you report. All right, so let me just do some ranting, and then we go straight into business, okay? So, and I hope that you bear with me. For those who don't know the program, I normally rant every Tuesday, and then we get into some business. But I do some ranting and some whining and everything else, and then we get to work, okay? I just want to remind those of you who are just coming in, it's a platform, a clean platform. We keep it clean. It reflects my Christian values, of course. And so when you come here, you're welcome to express yourself and to be yourself. I don't care where you're coming from, where you're viewing us from, whatever it is, you should find a home here on this platform. You know, it becomes your platform as you continue to follow it. Moving over there in Montreal, it's like I've fed my neighbor. Yes, and we also have Veronica who is coming in. Yes, Veronica, where's Cooley James? That's a fact, Cooley James. but let me rant. So, I observed for the past few weeks, of course, individuals giving me a heads up that there's an individual on Facebook, on social media, that keeps mentioning my name and, you know, just going on and trying to paint some image that I do not really know about. And first it started saying, oh, Garfield is a very bad person and he's not good and he's this and he's that. And I'm like, okay, if that's going to make you feel good, then you can continue. You can talk. Give them the space. Give him the space to rant and to get on and to big up himself, while I keep myself humble, of course, and respectful as I always am. Those of you who know me know that I am very, very respectful, calm, control, and I do not just act out of compulse and emotions and all the drama and back and forth like a ship on the ocean. One side I'm there, one time I'm there, the other side I'm there. I'm up, I'm down, I'm sad, I'm happy. No, I'm very much controlled, friends. All right? I'm not saying that I'm a perfect control guy, but I'm very much under control. So I allow the person to rant and to besmirch and to disrespect and to do all what they were doing on social media. And I kept, observing, because I do behavioral, pattern. I study that, of course. So I'm monitoring and trying to figure out what that person is suffering from, whether they're hurting, whether there's some regrets, or what is happening, because I'm trained to look deeper. So I observe and everything else, and came to a number of conclusions, which I might share if I want to, but I don't feel safe sometimes just diagnosing people, like that. But this one was seeking attention and was doing a lot of things to, to get that attention from me, which I refused, of course. I don't reward bad behavior, friends, not in kids and not in adults, and so I went on, and the person I'm speaking about is KKRR, of course. I've never had a problem with him, but he have always been, ever so often, passing his place, of course, crossing a line because he believes that he's a bully. So yesterday, if my memory serves me well, yesterday on News on the Go, I addressed that situation. I addressed it in a very professional, respectful way. I did not call names, and I said, well, an individual from another state, because I was still at the point trying to protect that person, trying to, not embarrass the person, because the last thing that I want to do to an erring soul, embarrass them. But there was a pattern. So I did make a statement on it, and I said, look, we have big babies on social media who are out of control, who has no, has not grown up mature. Like when you're a child, you act like a child. Now you're a man, you act like a man. You put away childish things and all those beautiful quotes that I got from the scriptures, of course. So I would believe that this person at that age would be try to settle in with wisdom and decency, respect, not nastiness. You would think that that person would grow into stuff and grow out of stuff, but it seems to me that the childish behavior and the bullying, and I'm not sure if the person can help themselves with the bullying. There's a rule of out there where you don't attack people if they're not troubling you. And if you keep troubling them and they're not troubling you, you need to back off because, the person is not responding. The person has done nothing to you. They say nothing about you, nothing to you, but you're constantly, that is a psychological problem, folks. And a lot of people, because they do not understand when people do these things to them, that these individuals are suffering themselves deep within, then you start hitting back and you create even more problems for you and for them. But I'm a professional, of course. Most of you who view this program know that I am a professional and I can boast about my professionalism when I come onto this platform, and my love for the Lord, my willingness to serve Him with joy and gladness. Effective, of course, I am. Not perfect and not knowing it all, but one who needs to be corrected himself and reproved ever so often. Defective, I say to myself, a wretch that needs grace ever so often. I understand my defects. But when you have people constantly going on, and they don't have no end to their madness, they keep going on and on and on and on and on until you realize that, hey, you got to try at some point to stop this quickly. This is beyond. This person either need to be dealt with legally, medication-wise, see a doctor, get evaluated to see what is going on the up there. Might be some cuckoo, something might not be, some chemical, something is not blending properly. Or the individual might be lacking sleep on some sort of strong drink or some strong smoking something, but something might be going on there that you might want to get help for this person. So I say, look, stop. It is time to stop. It is time to stop this madness. Because there are also the weak-minded people too who start believing and listening, and when they see you now, they believe that, oh yeah, Kiki Arau said this about him, so maybe I can say this about him, or I can do this to him in public. And it happens a lot. People meet you and they start to disrespect you without even you knowing them, not realizing that they're feeding into some nastiness that was placed in the atmosphere against you. And ever so often I have had to deal with individuals, and when I ask them, do you know me? No. What do you know about me? Why are you disrespecting me? Oh, Kiara, I said this one say, that one say. And I was like, okay, I understand that, that you're being affected by the negativity. But when you meet people that you don't know, there are two things you can do. Pass them straight or say, hi, how are you? But you do not just walk up to someone and disrespect them. That's not human. That's just déclassé. It is unbecoming of a civilized society. And I discover even in my studies that there are a lot of people who have lost their lives because they feed into negativity from someone. They take the negativity and carry it to the individual who the person is talking about, and that person just blow that fuse on them at the moment. We got to be wise. We got to respect people. We got to draw a line. And Kiki Ara, I don't believe he know how to do that. Somebody got to teach him some manners. And not to say he has any political knowledge or any political position that he can really take of substance to help develop a country. No, he does not have that. He don't know. Can't help. And so all I was asking that he stop with the ignorance, with the nastiness. Stop calling my name. Stop insulting. Stop with the besmirchment. These are legal matters. You have crossed a line. And you need to stop, of course. I beg you to stop for your own sake. Not my sake, for your sake. Stop. For your sake, you need to stop. So I did that, but I observed something last night. I went on another guy's platform. I would use the word guy. I went on his platform and then I realized that he's jeting power. Like a fowl just fly. What? Like a fowl that is on something too, just and not understanding anything. And I was like, wow, this is funny. I'm speaking to Kiki RR, but here is somebody coming in as though everything you say is theirs. They own cyberspace. And how dare you speak your mind on social media? Taking up a cause that has nothing to do with you. Sick mind. Unhealthy mind. Suspicious mind. And there's an old saying, a fool is known by his many words. Prackle, 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 prackle. Don't even wait to allow you to speak. Have you ever met people like that? You have the conversation with them and you can't even get 2-3 words in. You can't get 2-3 words in because they're just and they go on and on and on. And by the time they finish talking, then you got to go back to the beginning to explain to them what you are saying, that what they're saying is not what is happening here, that they are in another world with a different conversation. Why? Because they do not understand what is called active listening. You say what you say, you shut up and let the person speak. Then you come back, speak, you give people turns. There are times you will interrupt and say, hold a minute. What you say there? That's not what it is. But this person just goes like a runaway train with the mouth. And the mouth moves much faster than the brain, causing a melee of confusion behind. So, sir, I was just speaking to you. Please, let's grow up. I was very shocked. I was like, wow, this is amazing how I can just put on my live and somebody can just sit there and think that I am targeting them. I'm talking about them and just get themselves sick, angry, and all kind of thing. And not only that, they drag others with them into the curse, into the blight. Yeah? So that was my rant, of course. My rant is we can be better as men. I hate to see men acting, and back in the days we would say men acting like women, but that's not the thing that you can say now, of course. But when you see men acting so emotional, like they're going through hormonal changes, and they're now entering into menopause, and oh, the place is so hot, and then it's so cold, and oh my God, this thing irritates me, and oh my God, I can't stand that. And because so much emotional changes one time that you swear that as men they go through menopause, real menopause I'm talking about, that women go through. You swear that some men actually go through the very same thing, have hot flashes, and oh my God, everything irritates them. And you swear that some men are wired wrong. There's some wires that kind of cross into the wrong areas and they act a certain way. When you're a man, you act like a man, not like a little chicken. But that was my rant, of course. And that's why some women decide, look, I'm going to stay by myself. If I got to get a hen like that, if I got to get a man acting like a chicken, like he's going through menopause more than me as a woman, then, as I stay by myself, Is that true? Sister Haven, how are you? Oh, my God. No, that's funny. And I honestly stick the type sometimes I laugh. Even King Harris, I find him funny, but he overdo it sometimes. He cross lines that should not be crossed. And then at some point it stops being funny and it becomes liable. Childish, of course. But let's be men, friends. This is no time for fights and all this nonsense as we grow up. You want to start thinking of retirement, about, settling in to something good, something beautiful. You want to grow into that beautiful thing as you get old. You want to be, different, nice and calm and respectful as men. You don't grow into nastiness. You want to grow out of it and start settling into the now moment. Realize that you're not younger. You are older. And now you're heading towards the grave. That's where we're headed, folks. Towards the grave. And you want to just reflect on life and be an example to the society. But my prayer is that you guys change, and maybe I need to change too, but I pray that all of us change for the better. And we stop acting like little hens without a neck. Stop being moved by every wind of drama that is not even yours, and be settled. An unstable minded man is unstable in all his ways. So be stable. Get some stick-to-itiveness, of course. Pull up your big boy pants and say, I'm a man. Yeah, I can resist this. I'm a man. I can hear this and don't hear it. I'm a man. I don't need to go after another man talking about him as if it's some honeymoon relationship. Are you looking for a mother hen? No, as a man, as a cock, a man, you build up yourself and you pull up yourself, man, and put your head up and act like a man. Yeah, we run it, cussing up everybody. Hey, obviously it's a rural confusion and looking for it too. Like back in the days, we were peeping through the galvanized to see what's the next soaps. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever done it, any one of you? Peeping through the galvanized, peeping through your window. You have, those little wood houses where you have the gap? You peep in through to hear what? You hear the husband and the wife cussing or the drama outside. You peep in. Everybody peeping. Remember back in the days? Yes. So let's grow up as men and be men. Pull up your big boy pants. Because I'm sure it's a pants you have, but pull it up. And let's be men in the society and teach our boys how to be men. That's what we need to be doing. Teaching our boys how to be men. But how can we do that if we ourselves at 60, 65, going into 70, and we still can't even be a man ourselves and control ourselves? Unstable. So that's my prayer for you gentlemen, for you men, for us men, that we put away the drama. Stop acting like, let's act like men. We are men. That's what I'm trying to say. Men. Man up. But yeah, let's go before we get the problems with, oh my God, with the men. Men, be men, man. Yeah, teach the other boys how to be men. I wish I had a son. Teach them how to be men, how to be respectful to others. Teach them how to be respectful to other men and women, especially. Teach them that they don't need to be bullies. Teach them that if somebody don't mention you or target you, leave them alone. Teach them that. You'll live longer. Lydia says, like little girls. I wanted to say little girls, but that you can't use those kind of stuff. Like, go tifum. How do you say tifum? Oh, that's the worst thing, man. Drama. drama. It's just amazing to see men, and documenting that thing on social media like it is something good, like it's something normal. And poor Jab Moy said, no more to sell. He got that. Can't feel what? Oh my golly. I mean, just move along. And for Kikara, you say you fall in love. One night you fall in love and your heart is all in the clouds. Stay in the clouds with your heart. Why are you looking at other men? Why are you bothering me? Stay in the cloud. You're in love. Ooh, you meet you meet the Cinderella of the future. Just go along and meet your Cinderella. Because you have a very skillful way in meeting Cinderellas. Of course, you meet Cinderellas very quickly, and then your heart is one moment in time, and then the Titanic sink, and you're on the bow of the Titanic, singing something different, a whole new world. What is going on? Anyway, folks. Anyway, let's go. Let's get down to some work, some serious work. My rant was long tonight. My rant was long, but it was a lesson, of course. Folks, I have some issues. Let's go to St. Vincent quickly. So there's something happening there. Most of you would have heard of the new government that was sworn in. That is Mr. Dr. Goodwin Friday, the new Prime Minister of St. Vincent. So what we're finding out, and this is the source here, is the St. Vincent Time. That is Ernesto Cook. And he's saying, he's writing here in his newspaper that, in his news article, that and he's quoting Gonsalves, the opposition leader there, Mr. Gonsalves, saying that the United States, and I quote, the United States of America, the president, has advised St. Vincent on the sales of passport. Now, remember Dr. Friday did campaign on bringing the CBI program to St. Vincent, having the CIP program in St. Vincent. Ralph Gonsalves resisted. He said, no, I'm not going to sell our patrimony, the highest honor of our land, our citizenship. I'm going to sell. Ralph Gonsalves took a stand. He said, no selling of passports. And he maintained that, I must give it to him, he maintained that he's not going to do it. It's too risky. He compared it as being, as an individual being on cocaine. Of course, you get addicted and you just keep going and going. In the process, a lot of things goes wrong. A lot of things goes missing. Finance, fraud, all kind of stuff can happen. So Ralph said, no, I'm not going to do this. All right? And he was very vocal on it. So the United States, we're finding out, president gave advice or advised the new government that two things they should not do. One, CBI, sell passports. Two, have change their foreign policy in support of China. Now we are seeing that the United States really has a problem with our CBI programs, CIP, and China, the influence of China in the region. And so the United States is saying to St. Vincent, that is risky business. It is risky, and you need to avoid going down that road. And Ralph is saying that this action can annoy the United States President, Mr. Donald Trump. That is what Ralph Gonsalves is saying to the people of St. Vincent, that this action, switching to China, changing foreign policy, and having deeper relations with China, and also the implementation of this sales unit, the CBI program, would be too bad recipe for major crisis in St. Vincent. So we're going to watch this space as, we dig a little deeper to understand what in the world is happening here to our region. So that's it for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let's go over quickly to St. Kitts and Nevis. And this is from Times Caribbean, of course, this article, this piece. Let me just pull it up on the screen. And this is, and I quote, this is, again, I'm reading from Times Caribbean, that's TC, St. Kitts and Nevis. It says, St. Kitts, Nevis, I quote, St. Kitts, Nevis, crypto fraud, fugitive, dual national with St. Kitts, Nevis passport, sentenced to 20 years as 73 million scam exposed, according to the U.S. Attorney General's office. This guy got his visa, his passport, citizenship through the CBI program, sold, I believe, on the Galaxy, subject to correction, in St. Kitts and Nevis. He was a bad apple. And remember the whole due diligence discussion that we've been having and what we're experiencing now between the United States and these countries? And then upon this, St. Vincent is jumping into the CBI program, and Trump is warning St. Vincent, saying to them, don't you think about it. But now, this is what is happening. The U.S. Attorney, the U.S. Attorney General, was able to convict this guy, sentence him to 20 years for $73 million scam. And he carried a St. Kitts and Nevis passport. I pause for you to take that in, what we're dealing with in our region. This is what we're dealing with in our region. And there might be more of these players out there with our Caribbean passports. And when you hear people talk about, we don't give visas in the region. We sell passports. Well, hey, here is a gentleman that got caught by the U.S. authority. By the U.S. authority with a St. Kitts and Nevis passport. So this is why we got to, friends, have these hard discussions. And we got to have these discussions seriously, not with the emotion and all the nastiness you see out there. We got to be real with the discussion. CBI program is a challenge. And maybe now we try to put safeguards in place, but maybe the horse is already gone. Maybe when you put up your fence, the horse is already gone. A few horses have already left the barn. Is that true? Yes, it's true. It is true. So the many warnings throughout the years about our CBI program, the many alarms that have been sounded, instead of paying attention, everybody went on protecting their CIP programs in different countries. St. Lucia got specialists to go out there with PR campaigns spend thousands, millions of dollars. Other countries did the same. No, they wasn't saying, look, friends, this is serious stuff. Let's just fix it. Let's just stop, underselling and all those things at the time. Let's just stop. This is dangerous stuff. Dangerous stuff. Then we had the RICO lawsuit that exposed a lot of bank accounts, a lot of countries. And then Washington got involved, which we did warn that Washington is going to be involved. And Washington is involved. And the Attorney General of the United States is involved. That's it for St. Kitts and Nevis. So we had in St. Lucia, we had the relocation of the beef, the cows, from a hazardous situation that had caused death, destruction of people's vehicle, caused lives, and damage to people's property, their vehicles. Those cows were a hazard for years. People have been complaining. Nothing. Finally, the government decided, look, on Saturday, we're going to start removing these cows. Philip Jippet told his Minister of Agriculture, this folk, guys, we got to do this. Finally, we got to do it. And it was done. But it was done after many lives were disrupted. And everybody wants us to clap and say, yeah, beautiful. It's good that it's happening now. But after the fact, lives and livelihood were disturbed. People's vehicle, brand new vehicle, getting damaged. It took us so long so that we can come and celebrate like, yeah, we're doing something special for you. Let the cows deal with themselves, the cows and the cows. So the cows are moved into Viewfort. So Viewfort is going to be known as Cow City soon. Well, I'm just saying. Don't get mad, folks. That's not my business. You voted for that, so I'm just talking. All right? But just now you'll hear, when you see your sign heading into Viewfort, welcome to the newest Cow City in town, where you can get free milk, free cheese, and free beef. I'm just kidding, but people voted for that. All I got to do is kid, because like I heard in the House today, in the Senate, the people voted for us. They voted for our policies. So who am I to come on this platform and cry over your policies? My government is working. My government work, moving the cows and bringing hotels on the Shock Beach. That's my government at work. I'm not going to get blissy in the process of coming here to protest government when the people voted for the government. And even those who didn't go out to vote, you voted for the government. Those who crossed the floor and vote, you voted for the government. So who am I to be wasting my little years and getting my gosh sick, my throat dry? Duh. That's it. I can't say anything about this. I mean, my government is at work. And we just got to step on the side and let the government do its work. All right? Of course, why not? And remember what the mood is. The mood is red indeed. It's red. Okay. Somebody said first was goats, now it's cows. I didn't know there was goats also. But let's something I observed with the Senate sitting today. That is the president of the Senate, I think, is Alvina Reynolds, the one who was giving us a new date for St. Jude every week. She was the health minister, I believe, at the time. I looked at that president of the Senate today as she interact with the senators in the upper house of St. Lucia, that is. And I realized that she speaks down to the senators, especially on the opposition side, as though they're her children. I observe that. That's my observation. And in particular, Senator Fede, I saw her attitude towards him. He could not open his mouth for a minute. You could have seen her continent, the expression, like she was tired, she was fed up with him, and how dare you, and you can see the continent. And I was like, why is she, the presiding officer, so angry, upset over the senators? You know, you can guide the Senate. It's your duty to keep order in the Senate. But you must never appear to be speaking down to those who are appointed to represent the opposition or even the government side. You should not be talking down to adults like they're children. That's a breakdown, of course, and I observed it and I noted it. I was not biased. I noted her behavior. I don't know how many of you saw it, but you must go back and look and listen, and you'd realize that there's not a lot of respect for Mr. Dominic Fede coming from certain individuals in the Senate. Observe. And I want you to correct me, of course, if you think that I'm seeing something that is not there. I'm willing for that correction, but that's my observation. I think I'm entitled, of course, to see that. All right? To do that. There's another situation, the Uber situation, friends. The Uber situation in St. Lucia. And I tend to agree with Miss Alexander on this one. I tend to agree with Miss Alexander Soraya on this. The government need to be very clear when it comes to Uber. Now remember, Uber introduced its app to drivers. Drivers signed on to the app. I am kind of confused at some point with the government saying to St. Lucians and to the taxi drivers that we have asked Uber to stop, to cease operations. Let me see if I have anything on that. No, I do not have anything on it. I don't have anything on it at the moment. But, Mr. Healy, the question is, what laws or regulations that Uber is breaking in St. Lucia? That's what I need to know. And that's what the people should be asking. What laws are they violating? One, the drivers have signed on to the Uber app. We're talking about cyberspace technology. Just like Facebook, just like Google or Google Map, a taxi driver can sign on to Uber to the GPS or Google Maps without government saying, Google, don't operate here anymore, stop. Please, stop, please. A driver can sign on to Lyft, another car service. And the government can say, based on what Eli is saying, the government can say to Lyft, oh, stop operating. Lyft will say to you, what are you talking about? Our clients, which are tourists, visitors from the United States, Canada, and England, they use our app in the United States. When they get to your country, they turn on their app. They are local drivers that are licensed by you, are following the rules. They are insured, they are licensed, they have their TLC plates. Our client, which is your tourist guest, turns on our app in your country, and you are saying to us in the United States that we should stop operating in your country. Now, Uber can say, well, tell it to the tourists. Tell them, don't come to your country and use our app in your country. So you see where this is going. That's why I discussed this so clear with you folks the last time. I said to you, what is the government going to do? Ban the app? Sue the app? The Uber app? What are they going to do? I told you what they needed to do. I told you that they needed to run to their lunch rooms or conference rooms and start writing some regulations in the country for Uber. That's exactly what I told you. And it's still a fact that they should do so. But you cannot tell a tourist that they cannot turn on the Uber app. And you cannot tell a local taxi driver that he cannot turn on an app that he signed on to. There are other programs, that people sign on to, apps that they sign on to in the country, and the government gets nothing from it, Do you know there are a whole lot of apps online that has nothing to do with the government and Hele? Do you know that? Do you know that there are a lot of people in St. Lucia who are making little $10, $100 on Facebook? Do you know that? And the government gets zero from it in taxes? Do you know that? I'm just asking you. Do you know what you call content creator? On TikTok, on social media, on YouTube. You get a certain amount of following and you're producing quality programs, and Facebook starts sending you a little $5, $10, and YouTube does the same, and also the other apps. Do you hear the government saying to those app companies, stop operating in our country? Again, I believe it's a level of not understanding the moment and time that we're in. We are in an era of technology. The world is very small. The world is in the palm of your hands. You can work from home in the Caribbean. You can work from home, make money right there on your bed. Do you understand, folks, how serious, how big this whole Uber thing is? Do you understand the confusion and how we look at us as a small nation when our government said to Uber, stop operating our company, as though Uber has a car company in your country, as though Uber has a fleet of vehicles painted in yellow somewhere in Castries, as though there's a massive headquarters in Viewfort where they have a call center, they're hiring people, and people are there, customer service, are operating in their country. And the world looks on and wonder what in the world is happening here. And because a lot of people are not too informed about Uber, then they go along and Uber disrespect the government, and Uber started operating, and Uber been operating. Facebook been operating. What are you talking about? The problem is that the government spends so much time cursing Mr. Shastney, cursing UWPs, insulting women on television, and all the early morning dramas on the citizens, the busy cursing out vendors, when they should have been spending all their time understanding as the world turns. And not just simply turn, real turn, because the world is turning quickly. And technology itself is on the cutting edge, and it is leaving a number of nations behind, including yours. Yes. Because you're now fighting, you guys are now fighting for cashless and and paying your bills online. You guys are still struggling with that, isn't it true? Huh? There's a whole set of stuff you still can't do online. The world's been there, done that. The world's been online, done that, and have changed the very online presence in the sense that you can just press a button on your app and a car shows up by your door. Huh? But no. The government is saying to space, stop operating our country. Because that's what it is. Who are you talking to? Where's the business in the country? Who are you talking to? The guys who are good enough to say to you, respectful, to say, Mr. Government, your drivers will be using our app. That's what it is, Uber had the respect. Some of you said they were disrespectful. But when you look at it, Uber informed the government that drivers will be using their app in your country. All you had to say to Uber is, okay, what we will do as a government is we'll put some guidelines for this operation. Let us know how you're going to be in case there's an accident. How is this going to happen? Who's going to be held accountable? Is it the local driver or the Uber, the app that they're using? Is there special insurance covered through the app? If anyone get damaged with a taxi driver using your app on your time, are you responsible? Let's have a conversation. We can't stop the drivers from using your app, but we can have conversations with you to ensure that the locals and individuals who would use your app in this country, that they provide a safe environment for our citizens and for our visitors. Story done. All this cease and stop that we tell them to stop, I do not understand what this is, to tell you the truth. I really don't. And I wish somebody could help me to understand. I might be a bit slow on this. But it's a technology transportation company. In some countries, they have headquarters that are set up. You understand what I'm saying? There are also electrical vehicles that Uber owns that are operating in some of these countries. There are fleets. So, these governments were able to put regulations in place to deal with this new technology. So get with the program, St. Lucia government. Just put policies in place. Don't let the taxi drivers feel that Uber is not going to operate, and they cannot use, they're forbidden of using the Uber app. They're disadvantaging themselves. They are disadvantaging themselves. Because the onboarding part of Uber, and the onboarding means that they're bringing you on their platform. So therefore, they're debriefing you, they're training you, they're saying to you that you got to look at safety tips, you got to look at the structure of the organization, the do's and don'ts. You got to do all that before you can be signed on. It's called onboarding. You come on board, and so they're equipping you to manage the app. That's what you call onboarding. Onboarding don't mean people coming and sit down in your car. So I'm glad I was able to settle that. Of course, I sound like a professor there, Uber professor, but it is the truth. I believe that the drivers stand to benefit, because when the season is low, or when nothing is going on for taxi drivers, all they got to do is to turn on the Uber app. Uber does all the promotion. The tourists will Google and see if Uber operates in the country, and they will, as soon as they're on the plane, as soon as the plane touches down, they're going to turn on the app and they're going to call for a driver. Whoever is closer in the area will receive that notification on the app. So if there are 5 taxi drivers and there is 10 requests, 5 taxi drivers at the airport in Vieux Fort, there are 10 requests for transportation from Uber, from American Airlines or JetBlue. Guess what? The Uber app is going to scan as far as Dennery to see if there are additional drivers in the area. The app is going to alert you that there is a pickup half an hour away that you can make $150 on. And you have the option of saying, I don't want it, you decline it, and another driver will receive it. So you, in other words, you will have constant access to making $1. Some of you are sitting outside the hotel all day playing dominoes and troubling the women. You know how you do it. I don't know if you still do that, of course, but back in the days, that's what you do. Busy in soaps, minding people business, packed outside, talking the latest news and everything else, when you could be making an extra $1 to pay your transportation, to pay your bus. What do you prefer, to sit down under a tree by a hotel waiting? Or would you want to be able to turn off on your app while you are sitting there waiting, have your app on, just in case there is a request for a ride? So you have 2 options. You have the hotel you're waiting for, and then 2, you have the Uber app that is scanning for you, working for you. That's what the app does. It is working for you while you're waiting. You don't have to do nothing but turn it on. How is that a problem for you drivers? Oh, the problem is you don't want to try nothing new. You want to stay in the Flintstone age. Yeah? Using an animal to dig a hole. And I challenge you drivers, try the app. You will love it. And I've challenged you, government, put some regulation in place to guide the Uber drivers. Put regulation, put something in place on your books. Call it a cyber something, or what you call it, ride share regulation. That's what you should call it. Ride share, or whatever it is, something. But you do something. You guys know how to put all kind of laws for foolishness in place. Here's the opportunity. If it was Mr. Shasta, you will find a law to put in place for him. Here is a good thing to do. But drivers, you need to start paying attention to these rapido developments in our world today. Don't be comfortable sitting down outside a hotel or under some almond tree by VG Beach waiting with your foot in the window up and you're on your phone watching Facebook or talking to some girl that is not even your wife. I'm not saying all of you do it, of course, but I'm just saying, I'm just imagining some of the stuff that would be happening while you're waiting. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. Put on the Uber app and stop being idle, folks. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, board. Don't make the people, government, Mr. Healy, don't make the drivers feel like it's something so bad and Uber is coming to put right. They are the ones. They can decide to take off the app or put on the app. Either way, they're making money. They can be in their homes and have their phone, the app on their phones. They can just have that thing on. It's an aid. It's a tool. It's extra support, extra help for you drivers. Use your brain. This is not about people coming in your country to take away your bread. Nobody's taking away your bread. If I develop an app and I'm taking 10% for my app and I'm giving you some of the money, how are you losing? Did you create the app? Can you update the app? Maintain the app? Do you have customer service? Do you have insurance on the app? I do all that. It's my app. Come on, drivers. Think about this. I love you all, but think about this. And ask people who really know about this app. I can come and guide you all, I can come down. Bring me down, I'll come down. But send an Uber for me when you all bringing me down. Bring me down, I will come and talk to your associations. Of course, I call Uber and see if Uber can pay me for doing it. All of us got to eat something, of course. Come on, that's what I'm saying. $1 for you, one for me, one for them. We good. People get home, passengers got to get home safely. Emergency, medical, wife pregnant, the ambulance not close enough. Call an Uber. Huh? I told you. I booked an Uber from British Airways in England. I was on the airport and I booked an Uber. Didn't even know where I was going, and I got to where I was going, thank God. Very friendly Uber driver. Didn't have to put $1 in his hands. He was paid through the Uber app. And if I had a problem with him, all I had to do was to just file a complaint, press a button, and bam, Uber calls or steps in. How can we be of assistance? How can we fix this? Sometimes you get a refund of your money. Huh? All I am saying, friends, is that we got to move with the times and stop being in the Stone Age. Come on. Why your name is Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck? Come on, get with the program, man. Upgrade. Big up yourself, man. What, you can't use your smartphone? The phone's smarter than you all? Use the phone. Don't tell me you're buying a smartphone and it's smarter than you all. Come on. Anyway, there's a situation with Renault. I finished with Uber, I just want you all to use it because when I have emergency, I can always, from American Airlines or JetBlue, at Urinor Airport, I can just ping and get an Uber to get me to the rental company or to get me to the nearest hotel, and I good. The driver benefit, I benefit, Uber benefit, and we all are happy. There's a piece of the apple for all. More memoirs, me. Anyway, so there's two things that happened there in St. Lucia I want to highlight. Renault and the road construction, and Lucy, like the drama between these two people.
To public safety and open dialogue. This follows recent public statements from the contractor on the Norbert Road Rehabilitation Project, where the issue of estimate cost and public safety were raised. He says all company estimates are prepared using established and standardized procedures.
We use best practice procurement practices and we construct to international standards. In addition to that, we have over the years developed standard unit rates for materials and labor, and that is applied consistently for all jobs. But the company also has a responsibility to manage its costs very prudently, otherwise it could translate to the tariff. And one can always argue that Lucilec can absorb these costs, and we can. But if we were to absorb the cost, it would be a cost that we have to pass on to the consumers. Costs like the relocation of lines associated with roadworks should be treated and passed on to the government or the agency or the contractor as part of the project.
The managing director says the cost provided reflects the scope of work on the project, which includes the relocation of an estimated 21 to 25 electrical poles and parts of the existing distribution network.
Projects like this need to be managed going forward more responsibly. And what I mean by that is that there needs to be more planning and coordination amongst all the stakeholders, including Lucilec, to avoid situations like this, where our infrastructure become hazards to the public. That should never happen again. And Lucilec will do all in its power to ensure that this is avoided going forward.
Lucilec continues to engage in ongoing dialogue with both the contractor and the Ministry of Infrastructure, which is overseeing the project's implementation. These discussions are standard practice for projects of this nature.
It is a fact that we provided a total cost to the contractor, and he questioned the cost. He said it was very high and had requested a breakdown of the cost. Over the last week or two, we have been in discussion with the ministry responsible for the project and the contractor regarding the costing of the project. We have subsequently provided a further breakdown of the cost, and it is under discussion. We expect that the ministry will accept what we have provided and provide that feedback in the next day.
Sorry, I do apologize, but one concern I have with the Renault company and Lucilec, the back and forth that we saw earlier. Now, you would have heard of, these roads that were built by Renault, and there are poles in the center of these roads that were newly built. My question is, were there designs, were there inspections, were there any type of evaluation and planning for the construction of these roads? Just a question. Are these roads authorized to be built by the government of St. Lucia? What proposal did Renault give you, the government? The Ministry of Infrastructure, Road Transport. What information did you guys exchange before the contract was awarded to Renault? That's the question. This whole back and forth exposes something bigger that many of you are missing. If you are working with the government issued you a contract to build a road. And this was my concern earlier, that something is fundamentally wrong in some of these countries. Because you cannot tell me that you awarded a construction company a contract to build a road in the let's say in the tune of $1 million. You did not get a breakdown. There is no engineer involved. There is no one monitoring the construction of these roads. That the roads are finished, but there are electrical poles in the road that need to be relocated, But there's a problem with who is going to pay and how much is going to be paid and when Lucy-Lake is going to move them. And Lucy-Lake is saying, when you building your roads, you should have that cost in that whole 1 million that you price the government for. So I am confused how we're doing business now as a government. This whole situation is an embarrassment, not to Reno, not to Lucy-Lake, but to the government, the infrastructure minister, who awarded the contract. Did you do an assessment with Lucy-Lake? Did you go to Lucy-Lake and say to them, look, we want to build this road. We have not given the contract as yet, but we need to get some figures in order to award the contract. All right? How much is it going to cost us? This is what we want to do. We want to expand on the road. We want to make the road bigger. But our engineers realize that in order for us to get the roads bigger, there are 20 electrical poles or 10 electrical poles that would end up in the center of the road. Lucy-Lake, here's what we want you to do. We want you to advise us on the cost to relocate, to remove the poles from where they are. But no, something went wrong because Lucy-Lake now is trying to figure out how much it's going to cost to do what you guys are requesting, as though it's a private road, this sounds like. This does not sound like a government road, This sounds like some private road on some back farm. You build the road first and then you figure out whether you can move the poles from the center of the road. That's what is playing out here, and people are just silent like the mood is red. And if it was a different government, all hell break loose. Was it a direct award? What kind of story is this? Was there a bidding process? Were other road companies given the opportunity to bid on that same road with the electrical poles in the center? That there's a big fight now. And you guys, this is nonsense. I don't know if I make sense, but folks, the mood is very quiet. Red and quiet. Nobody's asking these major questions. Why you build your road first and then you want price figure to move the poles? I don't understand. What is going on in this country? Well, I know. The mood is red. You voted for that. But I'm still asking, of course. Let me be indiscreet and ask, even though I know what the mood is. Exogai come for me at the appropriate time. But I'm asking, and this is real sense. It makes sense. Because two companies are back and forth. And the government is a referee now stepping in to say we're going to look at the proposal. How did Reno get the contract in the first place? Is he just allowed to go and build roads around the country, build infrastructure, and then tell you the price? Is that how we're doing business now in the country? I'm waiting for an answer from all of you. I'm confused. Honestly, I am deadly, redly confused. And I want you to tell me if this makes sense. Why all this now? You would expect Reno and Lucy-Lake to work together with the ministry or the engineers at the ministry. Remember during Shasta time, all the drama about the roads and Shasta, this, and King crying like a little baby that they bypassed me and there is no structural engineer and the roads mash up quickly because they wasn't following the protocols to build roads. Remember those stories? What is this? What is this story? Tell me. I want you to hear some of it.
Check.
The estimate provided for the Norbert Road Rehabilitation Project is based on key technical information, including updated road profiles, landowner details for affected parcels of land, and updated civil works designs. These elements help determine where and how electrical poles could be safely repositioned. Lucelec remains committed to working with all stakeholders to support the safe and efficient completion of the relocation works in the coming days. St. Lucia Electricity Services Limited, Lucelec, Managing Director Gilroy Pulte, has reaffirmed the power company's commitment to public safety and open dialogue. This follows recent public statements from the contractor on the Norbert Road Rehabilitation Project, where the issue of estimate cost and public safety were raised. He says all company estimates are prepared using established and standardized procedures.
We use best practice procurement practices and we construct to international standards. In addition to that, we have over the years developed standard unit rates for materials and labor, and that is applied consistently for all jobs. But the company also has a responsibility to manage its costs very prudently, otherwise it could translate to the tariff. And one can always argue that Lucelec can absorb these costs, and we can. But if we were to absorb the cost, it would be a cost that we have to pass on to the consumers. Costs like the relocation of lines associated with roadworks should be treated and passed on to the government or the agency or the contractor as part of the project.
The managing director says the cost provided reflects the scope of work on the project, which includes the relocation of an estimated 21 to 25 electrical poles and parts of the existing distribution network.
Projects like this need to be managed going forward more responsibly. And what I mean by that is that there needs to be more planning and coordination amongst all the stakeholders, including Lucelec, to avoid situations like this, where our infrastructure become hazards to the public. That should never happen again. And Lucelec will do all in its power to ensure that this is avoided going forward.
Lucelec continues to engage in...
Right, so, folks, you understand what I'm saying? It makes a lot of sense, right? Talk to me. Talk to me, folks. I want you to take time and think about this. Think about it. Think about what I'm saying to you. Does it make sense? Does it make sense, folks? Think about it. I would ask, my question would be, is our road safe? Is our road safe? Is it safe? Huh? Come on. What in the world is going on? What in the world is going on? What is going on? So, an individual just builds a road anywhere. The government says, look, I want a road built. And we say, go build it. And then as we go along, we'll figure out the cost of it. Huh? Huh? Well, folks, guess what? The mood is red, so keep building. But I just wanted to outline the fact that nothing new under the sun. You complain, Mr. King complained that the Alan Shastmy administration was just building roads without plans and without engineers. And you remember he was talking about the inches of the green fault or the Babel Green and they're supposed to be tested and all. Was this one tested? I don't know. I'm just asking. But something is wrong with this type of construction of government assets. And if you're not concerned, so it means that these guys are just building stuff, it seems, and figure out the hazard after. Oops, my God, there's a pole in the center of the road. We didn't realize that, of course. Or, oops, We forgot to put steel in the concrete. Oops, I'm sorry. How do we get the steel back in the concrete? That's what you want? Well, of course, these policies, majority of solutions voted for them. Folks, my final challenge tonight is this housing situation with a young woman and her children. A young woman and her children. Very sad indeed, and I don't know the full story. The lady is giving one side of the story, and I've not heard the other side yet, but I'm not sure how I can justify this by hearing any other story at all. But I want us to listen, and then we'll have a conversation on this. It's in progress already.
Not by the court of law, by the people that I live on their land, which the so-called adopted brother abandoned me and his 2 daughters for another woman in the house, and they have been tormenting me. Yesterday, 8th of February, the woman daughter hit my daughter. My son retaliated. The police, Marigot police, was present when 3 individuals, including her boyfriend and 2 other guys, came and put the house like that. I want justice for my children, and I have a baby 3 years old, one 4 years old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old. The police left, they sent stones behind my daughter. They sent bottle. Here is a picture of the stone they sent after my daughter. That is the stone they sent after my daughter, my 12-year-old, saying they're going to kill her. I want justice. I want justice to cry out for me. Before it reached there, I went to Crown's Land and asked them to help me. They told me certain things which it wasn't fair enough. I have made my application and they failed to assist even when I told them to. This is what they did. This is my home now. This is my home. This is what they did. This is my home. This is what they did. This is what they did. And they said they're going to kill my son. They said they're going to kill my daughter. Yeah. I want justice. I want justice. Because even if the house is their brother's own, so be it. I met him at the house. I have no problem. But I needed to get time to move. I needed to get time to move. They didn't give me time while I was searching for help. Somebody need to step up and fight. These people occupying the land and they never paid the property. They would not like it for themselves. But because I am a believer, they're doing me that. I got galvanized from the hurricane. They was in charge. They gave me galvanized from the floorboard. Okay. They say they're taking back the galvanized. They're going to burn the house down. They said I will not get nothing left out of it. And they said they will kill me. She said she will spend her last dollar to kill me and my children, to kill my son. I want justice. I want justice. I want justice. You see how my home scattered? I want justice. Even if you was renting, that's not fair of what they did. I want justice. And I want justice for me and my children. I want justice. And I want justice. After the house was not even good enough, I was looking for a way to move. I make steps. The police couldn't even defend me. The police couldn't even stop them. I want justice for me and my kids. Somebody have to pay for what they did to me and my family. They didn't do it on a court law. I have the documents. All those who helped them to break the house have to be dealt with. My name is Kathy Gabriel. I'm a mother of 7 for small ones.
Okay, so a sad story, but let's just have a short conversation on this situation. So the young lady has some kids. Is it 7 or 4 of them? In a makeshift temporary structure. There's a dispute between the children's family, it sounds like, or the individuals who allowed her to stay in a house that is theirs on government land. So something went wrong here. Something went wrong in my assessment. What went wrong? So, in my opinion, I believe there was a dispute, could be exchange of words, could be, we need the property. We need the property and you'll have to leave. And somebody, sounds like, got upset and decided, look, I'm going to get this property whether you want to leave or not. A matter of fact, I'm going to make you leave. So, could be after many attempts to get the property or to get this young lady with her kids out of there, they got up one morning and decided, okay, this is it. We're going to move the roof and everything else. We're going to mash up everything, pull down everything, and that's going to be it. But then if what she's saying is true, that there are threats on her life and the life of the kids, and there are stones, missiles that are being sent at the kids, that is going too far. That's endangering the life of a child. Threats, I strongly believe that it's against the law to threaten anyone's life. And that's the problem in that country, is that everybody threatens everyone, and the police and the authorities, when you report it, I didn't mean that. Or just turn a blind eye. Pretend like they're writing reports and write nothing. And so people just feel no one has been held accountable for threatening someone's life. So everybody threatens everybody. I've had it too. everybody, threatens everybody. I'll kill your mother, I'll shoot you, and it goes on and on until something serious happens. Let's suppose in that stone, if it is true, had struck that child in the head. Then you know what the headlines would have been? Oh, the guy is an animal, and all the things that you do after an event, of course, and crying and oh my God, the pretense. Nobody is held accountable for anything. Our hearts have become so cold that we're willing to move the roof on a mother with kids. And I want to advise, especially individuals, young mothers, when you have kids, you got to be careful. Not everybody you got to either curse out or raise your voice at. You have to think about your kids too, of course. And when everybody goes up in the air, nobody's willing to come down and to calm down and to take some time out. Everybody wants to be up in the air, bullying each other. A whole lot of things can go wrong. Children, innocent children, can get involved and can lose their lives. And there are simple ways to deal with some of these issues, such as land disputes, rental. You want to get somebody out of your home. They're renting their process. And a lot of people don't have a heart. If you're in somebody's house and they say to you that they want you to leave, don't fight. Ask them for some time and start looking. If it's not your place, start looking. Don't curse them out. Don't say things, bad things to aggravate them. They already want you out. It's not going to be comfortable for you going forward. Just move out, of course. And I'm not saying I understand this situation, of course, but I'm just going into different scenarios of things that can really go wrong. And this might be a situation where something would have caused the disruption, the bad feelings, to the point where you go and you take off the entire roof on a mother and threaten to kill her. Send stones at the children, even threatening the kids. Whether you're right or wrong, the owner of that property, whether you are in your right to take off, galvanize, and all those things, you became totally off when the life of those kids were placed in danger. You have lost every right, as far as I'm concerned, once you cross that line. Because there's not enough curse or insults that should trigger you to pick up a stone, if this is true, and aim it at a child. Or aim it at the mother with a child. If this story is real, friends, you have placed those kids' life in danger. And if I would advise a young lady, I would say to you, once they request their place, all you had to do was start looking. And you said you started looking, you needed time, of course. But you should have gone to your rep. During the election season, they were given galvanized and they were looking for photo op. You would have been a good photo op for some of them. Where were they? Anyway. They were galvanized all over the place, being given for free. And that's why we speak of a housing deficit. And there are some families, I'm sure like this young lady, who would not be able to pay a monthly fee for a housing project. So which means that we're still not making enough inroads when it comes to proper housing. They call it low housing. But what about housing for mothers like this? Until you can get them on their feet in employment so that they can own one of the low housing. What about one step at a time? You say low housing. What about housing without a fee that is run by the state for mothers who find themselves in this situation where you bring them in to the government housing, supported by the government, and then there are programs to get these mothers on their feet, get them working, get their kids in health, in daycare, giving them the support that they need. Because in her case, I believe that this young lady and the kids, should have been removed from that situation once it was brought to the authorities' attention that there was a problem. Should have been removed. Once you start hearing about threats and all these things, you want to remove them out of that situation. So we don't need only low housing. We need a facility to cater for mothers like these, with the intention of they being temporarily housed and enrolled into mandatory programs to teach them skills, to get them back on their feet again, whether it's ice lolly, crochet, working at one of the hotels, whatever it is, friends. The government has its place in the society in helping to lift mothers and giving them a head start. And I want to say to some of you young girls, maybe it is not even time for you to have a child. Maybe you need to get an education, educate yourself, empower yourself. And don't just allow men to just give you kids and then abuse you or have you in a little no bedroom, basically, without toilets, and you have your kids growing up and you're like depending on people and all, and then the embarrassment and all. You can avoid a lot of that as young people. If only sometimes you would listen to your parents. You would slow down. Sex is not all to life. You got to think about your future. You got to realize that you are special, you're unique. And maybe you were brought up in some bad communities or a bad environment or a bad home, but you can be more than a conqueror. You can be more than more. You can be at your best, rising from the ash of nothing, to even being a government minister or even the prime minister of your country. So do not look at your present condition, situation, and write yourself off. Some of you mothers, even though you have already those kids, but you can make it. I know of mothers who had to tie their kids on their back and cut canes and carry bananas. But they made it. They were able to educate those children. And those children make them proud. So it's time for women to empower themselves. Don't allow us men to say that you women should shut up and we are the boss and all these things. No, empower yourself, women. Young ladies, empower yourself. Don't just give men yourself. Just give them yourself and they use you like a toy and impregnate you and then move on to another one and another one and another one. Empower yourself, women. You have it within you. You become less burden for the system, for the government, for the church. In power, you can do it. No matter how low you are, women, right now, you can be at your top. It's not the end. Not because you have 2, 3 kids, it's the end for you. No, it could be your beginning. Those kids can make you proud in the future, but you got to reset. And I'm speaking to all young ladies under the sound of my voice. Empower yourself. The conditions that I see as I drive around some of these countries, it's ridiculous. And when you listen to the stories of mothers and some of these children, the daughters, some of them were really disrespectful to their parents, not listening, abusing their parents, disrespecting their parents. And then they sow and they reap. And then, friends, all hell break loose on society. But let's go back to this particular situation. I was speaking in general. But I'm saying to this young woman in particular, you keep your head up. Keep your head up and keep hope alive. You're special. Empower yourself. And I just want to salute mothers who had to fight for their children without a father. And many of you had to be in the same one-room situation. Many of you, when the men turned their backs on you, you had to fight for you and your child. You had to endure some humiliation, some embarrassment. But for God's sake, you stick with your kids and you fought that good fight. And you're no longer in a one-bedroom house. You have rooms enough for everybody in your community. Because you had some stick-to-itiveness. You had some hope. And even society, when they look at you a certain way, you were able to look beyond what society was saying to you. And you fought. You sat by the market and you sold your dashins and your bananas because your children were on your mind. And the burden of a father leaving, you had to fight through all that. For the survival and safety of your kids, some of you had to endure scars and sleepless nights. But you made it. So young woman, keep your head up. And keep it up with hopes for today. Your strength for today. And your bright hopes for your tomorrow. But don't you quit. You go out there all right. Let me just confirm that the YouTube is still firing. I believe, yes, it is. All right. Somebody's asking, where are our human rights lawyer? This is the right time to come out and help the young lady. That is so true. Someone says, I reached out to her and the kids many times before. We lost contact. I tried calling the number I have for her, but no avail. Does anyone have a number? Okay, someone is trying to reach out to the young lady. So if anyone knows the contact, you can post it on our platform so that those who are trying to make contact with her, maybe to help her, they can do so. Okay, so I think I saw a number there. I'm going to write it quickly. Okay, good. Yeah, that's very sad. So, all right. So I'm happy that our folks are trying to reach out reach out directly to her. That is good. That is good. I love that. Just bear with me. Yes. Okay, folks, so that's it. Thank you so much. Those of you who want to reach out to the young lady, you can. And even though it's a pound of rice, you can ensure that she gets. You can do so. But blessings to all, and remember, be kindly affectionate one towards the other. Have a beautiful night, folks.